Investec is a diversified financial group primarily active in investment banking, private banking and asset management.
Right,
Established in 1974.
And I know you were interviewing Stephen Kosef just before their closed period briefing recently, so you'll have some fresh insights. We put them in this conversation because really I think that asset management part of the business, particularly if you add private client asset management, is the bigger, more substantial core there.
Market cap here, 81.1 billion rand, trades on a PE of 11.2, dividend yield of 5.5%. Their wealth or their asset management business doing very, very well, and their wealth and investment division also doing very well.
Yeah, so the specialist banking is the other part of the business, and I guess where we've seen a lot of share price weakness really has been the exposure to the UK market, both the specialist banking and the wealth and investment. And in the aftermath of Brexit, we saw the share come off quite sharply. You mentioned that pre-close briefing, Stephen Kosef at some pains to satisfy the market that it's not going to have a major impact on them in the
Brexit.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely.
In the sort of short term, they're very well capitalized, very liquid and are diversified, able to trade through it.
Notwithstanding that, he did indicate that it is a tough trading environment globally at the moment.
And that's the problem, because I think one of the concerns out there is that if the Brexit thing happens, if Article 50 is triggered and Theresa May takes the UK out of the Union, then one of the fallout options could be that financial centre big banks withdraw back to Frankfurt. So I don't know. If that's the case and the financial sector in London goes into some kind of decline, but he was telling you this isn't an issue. This is not going to happen.
Well, as he was saying, you know, the bank is well capitalized. They are not bracing themselves for any adverse effect when the decision actually, well, not the decision, when the implementation comes to pass.
Yes, I think they've also got operations in Luxembourg. They're able to sell funds from there into Europe. They've got licenses in Ireland as well, which has obviously access to the EU. So they will continue to have access to that common market.
I think like all other CEOs in South Africa right now, Stephen is passionate about working with Praveen Gordhan to prevent this ratings downgrade, because the implications for the economy in South Africa are dire. And he made the point that the specialist bank in the UK was downgraded. It took them 7 years to recover from that downgrade, which is what they say in economy.
Let's have a look
How
at
long
the
it
share
takes an
chart,
economy to
because
recover.
I'm a little concerned that the valuation has sort of slipped. We're in that sort of low 80 rands a share range now, and it hasn't really recovered, notwithstanding the fact that the Brexit vote was back in June. So I don't know, it worries me a bit.
Isn't this indicative of the broader South African environment? We've seen a sell-off across all of the banks, given the volatility and the concern over, the downgrade and what that means for South African institutions.
Yeah, so I think unfortunately it's got that weighing on it, and then Brexit, so it sort of had a double whammy. And I guess our valuation's fairly low at these levels. I think they're doing a lot of good things in terms of digitalizing the bank and the business, focusing on their core areas, and it's somewhat depressed. You could see it as a buying opportunity.
Look, having said all of that, Hendrik de Tooy and his colleagues run a good operation, and the quality of the earnings of the overall Investec group are much higher now than they were in prior years on account of the great significance. But I'm afraid I'm going to go with not hot on account of those twin valuation and anxiety issues.
Also not hot.
Well, I think at these levels and the ability to trade through it, I think it's actually offering reasonable value. I'm going to go hot.